Over the last 2 to 3 years, the field of information and communication technologies has faced a significant uplift, and it has had a significant impact on almost all areas of human performance. Starting with such fundamentals as economics, management, science and education, and ending with common and simple needs like food delivery and leisure. Thanks to this intensive growth, the geography of high-tech business is expanding. So now, new names of cities, countries and regions are referenced more often in the IT community. Today, I'm in Uzbekistan, where one of the largest IT clusters of Central Asia is being born and growing stronger by the minute.
How was your trip?
It was great, thanks.
You didn't have any issues with your luggage, did you?
Everything was fine. I got on a plane, 4 hours and 40 minutes passed, and I'm already here in Tashkent. Thank you for meeting me. On my way, I saw a lot of hotels in the city centre, and many more are currently being built. As I see, the tourism and entertainment industry is developing.
Yes, that's totally true. I'm already used to seeing expressions of shock on the faces of our visitors, who had different expectations compared to our reality. There are still a lot of widespread stereotypes that Uzbekistan is probably somewhere in the middle of a desert, where people ride donkeys and camels. That's why all newcomers who come here and see this modern infrastructure, buzzing business, nightlife and culture are shocked by all that.
Uzbekistan was conventionally considered an agricultural country. Grain, fruits, vegetables and cotton are the national treasures of this state. The local land is also rich in natural resources: oil, gas, copper and uranium. Uzbekistan holds 4th place in the world by its gold reserves and 7th place by gold mining. However, on the same level with all these riches, there is another important resource: people. Uzbekistan constitutes 60% of the population of the Middle East, 35 million people, and more than half of them are young people under 30 years of age.
New Uzbekistan is now developing. Our country was known as an agricultural one for many years, but it's the nation's people that are its most important resource, not the land. IT is the only shortest and most efficient way of showing that we're currently living in a time when we need to utilize human resources. Many developed countries focus on that.
On July 24, 2019, initiated by the President of Republic of Uzbekistan, the first IT park in the country was founded in Tashkent. Its main mission was to turn Uzbekistan into one of the leading players on the global IT market. The technological park supports IT companies and startups, and it also creates the required infrastructure for their development. The park's tasks also include international cooperation in the field of high technology and integration of local specialists into the global IT community. The IT park defines intellectual capacity as the main valuable aspect of Uzbekistan, works on reforming the educational system of the Republic, and creates and develops training programs for IT specialists, starting with comprehensive and specialized schools.
We don't start our classes with theory. We create a problem and start working practically. Students make conclusions independently and achieve results. So then they can say, "Aha, that's how this theory works." Thus, we summarize, and only then do we teach some theorems. The Pythagorean theorem, for example. In this way, students generate new ideas. Those students who generate new ideas can think outside the box.
The school provides great opportunities. It teaches the areas that I've liked since childhood, IT specializations, such as web, networking, design, and software. In other words, coding in Java. I've chosen networking. This is the first step. It embodies the basics of cybersecurity. In future, I think my career will be related to cybersecurity.
After graduating from the school, future IT specialists who are willing to receive fundamental education for their future occupation have options to choose from. Many higher educational establishments in Uzbekistan, including leading foreign universities, are ready to provide such knowledge to students in various regions of the country.
Our networking with global and local companies is extremely good. Second is the quality of education. We produce rarity, so to say. We have between 300 and 350 graduates each year. Our students can find employment starting from their third year at the university. The university has an incubation center where students can find support from the IT part for implementing their ideas and startup projects.
In addition to the common academic resident education, new ways of gaining knowledge are being implemented in Uzbekistan. The development of the new learning options was boosted by the recent global lockdown, so these options are now highly viable.
The main learning principle at Astrum IT Academy is self-tuition. We don't employ conventional classes. After a student has registered and purchased access to our system, they can start their learning process. The first stage is a pre-season, as we call it. During this period, we test our students to make sure they've chosen the right career path, whether the career of being an IT specialist is right for them. Those students who successfully meet our requirements join the basic course. Currently, we teach 3 fields of knowledge: full stack, front end, and back-end development, software engineering, and data science.
I started learning 3D for game development with my father. After that, I thought that maybe I could start with programming, so that it would help me later in life. I entered the IT Academy in January and chose software engineering.
In 2019, we rented 2 rooms for the INHA University, and our entire rented space was 60 square meters. We currently have 205 offices across the entire Republic. There are offices in every area of the country. The offices are part of the IT Academy, where our students pass initial training and follow it up with professional-oriented training. We conduct training in these regions while proper work begins in our branch offices.
The residents of the IT park work in this building. This is the park's branch office in Tashkent. It's planned to open such branch offices in all 14 regions of Uzbekistan in the coming years. As of today, 7 branch offices are functioning.
In addition to this building, the branch office also includes 8 training centers across the entire city. The centers carry out educational activities. We're working on developing the residents, the resident IT companies that are working in Uzbekistan, be they foreign representatives, foreign companies, or local companies. All are understaffed. Our training centers are focused on preparing young people within the shortest time possible using the intensive bootcamp format to work in these IT companies. We're doing a great job in this regard.
The IT Park's regional branch offices also support everyone who is seeking help in implementing their ideas and, at the same time, teach all those willing to learn, starting with the basics of computer literacy all the way to launching an individual startup project. As you know, many major global IT companies started off in garages, where young, talented, and like-minded people obsessed about ideas to change the world for the better. The various technologies and prototypes they developed would go on to change the world 10 or so years later. In the modern world, a new generation of young and talented people no longer gather in garages. Grab your idea and come to the place where people are already waiting for you and your idea.
Currently at the IT Park, we're developing an educational online platform, recording IT lessons in a room and selling those lessons across Uzbekistan. I could never have imagined that the state would help promoting our project, but then I learnt about the IT Park. My father said, "Akbar, maybe you should pay them a visit. They're somewhat related to computers." When I came here, it turned out they had been already helping. They were providing various benefits that I didn't even know about. They allocated a room for me, found the necessary programmers, and even even improved my networking altogether. I've received a lot of help. They helped me find investors.
The residents of the IT park enjoy extensive support. Similar to startup representatives, their work is supervised by qualified mentors, direct tutors of the project team who have expertise in the world of business and share their experience and knowledge in the startup development area.
Our main attendees here are young people, 15 to 16 years old. They are always welcome here. It's a friendly environment. The branch is open 24/7, you know. They come to us with their own initiatives, a lot of which turn into startups. We managed to get support from the Ministry of Investments, despite their skepticism about ideas that come from young people, and so on. They selected 9 startups from 20. 3 of them are already operational and generating profit.
I had no idea about the IT industry. I learned some basics about computers and got excited by what I learned. I realised that it was a very interesting area for me. First, I studied graphic design, completed the courses, and started to make money as a freelancer. Then I switched to web programming. There are special freelance platforms where I get my work from. For example, a client wants a website or application. I create it, send it over, and get paid.
IT park incubation centres that operate throughout the country also help in promoting the startup projects. A modern technological complex that has been under construction in Tashkent since 2020 will become the core of this vast IT infrastructure.
The construction process of our IT Park Technological Complex in Tashkent is divided into 3 stages. Currently, we have 7 buildings that are mainly used as offices. We also have a conference hall with a capacity of 2,000 people that is going to be used for various IT events. The second stage includes the creation of an educational cluster. We want to have a cluster system for education and work. The process is going to start at the end of 2022, and it should be finished by the end of 2024.
Models, of course, always look great, but judging by the speed of construction, we can be sure that in a couple of years, the Information and Communication Centre in Tashkent will look precisely as we can see it in this model. The area of 6.5 hectares comprises 17 tall buildings, offices, residential houses, banks, a university and laboratories. There are plenty of green areas. This is going to be the largest IT cluster in the Central Asia, with the most comfortable working and living conditions for specialists and those who want to run a business in the IT industry. Do you know what impressed me most of all? There is going to be a 3-level parking area below the entire territory here.
We've built 7 25 and 30-storey buildings. We haven't finished the construction. It's at 85% completion so far, but all the areas are already occupied.
Tell us please about the relocation program.
We launched this program in response to requests from our residents who have their offices in other countries and are at risk of losing their clients from Western countries. First of all, from an ethical point of view, we decided to assist them with relocating their offices, employees and teams to Uzbekistan. Later, we gave this program the name Tash Rush, which means Tashkent Rush. It includes a number of free-of-charge services that we provide to the teams of our residents.
According to this program, the IT residents don't pay corporation tax, customs duties for importing goods and equipment for personal needs, or social payments. The income tax for these companies is 7.5% instead of 13%.
You won't find such unprecedented measures in any industry. No other neighbouring country will provide you with these benefits that we have in Uzbekistan.
All this applies to companies, but what benefits can you provide for their employees? First of all, I would like to mention special multi-visas for investors, founders of IT companies, and IT specialists.
It took 10, maybe 12 days for this decree to be signed. after we came up with the idea of introducing these special IT visas. It's a very good sign that indicates the strength of the political will in Uzbekistan to develop the IT industry. The IT park plays the role of a bridge, connecting the private IT sector and the government. The newly introduced IT visa allows our citizens' employees to freely visit and leave Uzbekistan within a period of 3 years. That's number one. Secondly, the IT visa grants them equal access to social services, such as medicine and education, that the citizens of Uzbekistan enjoy. It also makes it easier to get a residence permit in the country.
As for accommodation, a specialist who just arrived in Uzbekistan can always find a place in a hotel for a start. There are many hotels here in Tashkent that can satisfy any customer's needs. When talking about a long-term stay in the country, thanks to the high speed of residential construction in major cities, it won't be difficult to find an apartment to rent. Back here, I can see that construction is developing rapidly, both in Tashkent and in the regions. I mean residential construction. Will IT specialists who come here and work in Uzbekistan be able to afford an apartment? I mean buy it or rent?
We buy out entire residential complexes and offer these apartments to rent for acceptable prices, at the level they were prior to the current spike. Renting a 2-room apartment in a newly constructed building with all amenities currently costs $400 to $500 US.
Social conditions are another major factor that is important to a person who comes to another country. What is the situation with medical services, as well as kindergartens and schools for children?
Nowadays, a great number of private clinics are appearing in the country. We also have many programs for purchasing modern medical equipment for state-owned clinics. I would also like to note that the gap between the government and private sectors is not as vast as it was a couple of years ago.
Our kindergarten has been operational for 14 years. We work only in the Russian language, with advanced study of English and Uzbek. Just look at these plants. They cover us from the heat. And, of course, all of our rooms and corridors are equipped with air conditioning systems.
By the way, bringing up Uzbekistan's climate is not insignificant. In summer, the temperature during the day is from 33 to 36 degrees Celsius. By the end of July, the chiller period comes to Uzbekistan. This is the period when the temperature doesn't fall below plus 30 degrees, even at night. This period usually lasts for 40 days. It's also hot in May and September, when the temperature is 27 to 29 degrees. This is why there are many gardens and parks in Uzbekistan, and Tashkent is covered with verdure. Leafy areas provide coverage for entertainment centers, the most modern of which is the Magic City Entertainment Park. It offers all possible attractions, from rides for children to wonderful sea creatures. And this is perhaps the most popular visitor attraction in Magic City, the Oceanarium. It's well known that Uzbekistan is a landlocked country without any access to the sea, but it is now here, in the center of Tashkent, right above your head. The Oceanarium is not the only place in Tashkent with lots of flora and fauna. The Botanical Garden, which is the biggest in Central Asia, has a collection of plants from every continent. It covers more than 4.5 thousand species, including really rare ones from the endangered species list. As for animals, the Tashkent Zoo is the home for rare Far East tigers, lions, local camels, and exotic elephants who dwell in spacious enclosures. In closed halls, you can see Indris or lemurs from Madagascar, monkeys, Himalayan black bears, and Malayan sun bears that are under threat of extinction in the wild.
As part of the adaptation program, we also organise cultural tours in Tashkent that provide people with opportunities to visit local theatres. We have a well-known music, comedy and ballet theatre. In the Russian Drama Theatre, you can watch performances based on many Russian classics.
The cultural life of the capital, traditional, national, modern, and academic, is represented in abundance by various museums, theatres, and historical sites. You can find interesting places both in the downtown and other parts of the city. By the way, Tashkent is quite a large city. Pursuant to the 2021 data, over 2.7 million people live here, and according to the statistics, almost every family owns a car. As for public transport, you can use buses, but the subway is probably the most convenient way. The Tashkent subway is one of the largest in the post-Soviet countries, standing side by side with the subways of Moscow and St. Petersburg. It has 43 stations along 4 subway lines with a total length of more than 60 kilometers, and each of them resembles a palace in terms of their interiors. This is the Cosmonaut Station, a space program-themed palace. By the way, tickets in the Tashkent subway costs only 1,400 somla.
Uzbekistan has no official religion. According to the country's constitution, every person in Uzbekistan, whether they are a citizen or not, has the right to practice any religion or none at all. Thus, Uzbekistan has exceptionally high tolerance. On the streets of Tashkent, you can easily observe a girl in a hijab and a girl in a short skirt passing by each other, making friends and communicating. This doesn't affect any human relations among people.
The very name of the street, Sayogok, a road for walking, alludes to its main purpose and the prevailing atmosphere here. When all the daily routine is over and you just want to free your mind, eat some ice cream, have your portrait painted by an artist, or listen to street musicians. Yeah, today's Uzbekistan is kind of a melting pot, where traditional and modern cultures, Uzbek, Russian and global, are mixed. An ancient mosque is situated not far from the newest IT park. A young man plays a Christian hymn on his guitar in the underground passage next to the Amir Temur statue, and you can enjoy national cuisine dishes in a modern capital restaurant in the Tashkent television tower. So don't be surprised that the first days of the visit will be accompanied by the sound of breaking molds and stereotypes.
Lots of people in Tashkent actually speak Russian, or at least understand it. And for those who want to learn Uzbek, we also organize training courses that can teach you spoken Uzbek in literally 3 months.
But you'll need to remember just a couple of phrases to go shopping. For example, Moslotingiz nekpul, which means, how much is your product? Can you gather a set of some traditional Uzbek spices for me? Thank you. How much will it be? 14 somla, right? Next, to do some bargaining, remember Kimat Akar. This means, this is too expensive, brother. 150 somla for a kilo? Will you sell it for 100? 145. For 120? 142? Maybe for 125? Okay. 140? 140, deal. When you strike a deal, say Kate Rakmat, which means thank you very much. Got it? Thanks. Have a nice day. Chorsu Bazaar is the main Tashkent market. It has everything from tiubetes and chapans, national robes to juicy fruits and spices.
By means of the adaptation program under the Tash Rush program, we help people, let's say, to feel the culture and mentality of Uzbeks and Uzbekistan through hiking trips to ancient cities and sightseeing. For example, we organized a large-scale tour to the city of Samarkand, and more than 250 of our foreign guests and expats from various IT companies joined. We had a big 2-day tour. The guys visited many sites, and of course the magnificent Registan, a place many heard of and visited for the first time in their lives.
This place hardly needs any special introduction. Registan was the largest science education centre from the 15th to 17th centuries. It would probably be called a campus nowadays because three of the most important educational institutions of the time, the Ulugbeg Madrasa, the Tilyakari Madrasa and the Sherdor Madrasa, were located here, creating an amazing mix of theology and frontier scientific thought that shaped a unique intellectual heritage. For many centuries, Registan has been rightfully called the cultural and spiritual heart of not only Samarkand, but the whole of Central Asia. Samarkand's Registan, the Bibi Kani Mosque and the Gur-a-Emir Mausoleum are the family tomb of Timur and his descendants. The winding streets of Old Bukhara, the Kalyan Minaret, the Ark of Bukhara Fortress, and of course, the cheerful Nasreddin Hoja, well renowned for his adventures far beyond the borders of Uzbekistan. On this land, science promoted trade. Trade skills were considered art, and art in all of its manifestations polished up the word, caressed the ear, and delighted the eye. The art of Bukhara Fortress, it's hard to imagine, is 27 centuries old. It's clear that it's been repeatedly rebuilt, destroyed and restored over that period. But throughout its history, it has retained its main purpose of being the residence of Bukhara's rulers. Speaking about the historical and cultural sites of Uzbekistan, it's impossible to avoid such epithets as majestic and ancient. The same could be said about another attraction that immediately wins the heart of any guest of Uzbekistan.
The national Uzbek cuisine amazes the most. It's famous for being insanely delicious. Absolutely everyone likes it. It's absolutely universal, and people usually fall in love with our cuisine at first sight.
In addition to the famous pilaf, Uzbek cuisine has lots of other gastronomic treasures. Samosa, for example. What's well known to the residents of Russian megapolises as fast food, something you can eat on the go, turns into a hearty meal here. Notably, along with a rich taste, traditional Uzbek samosa doesn't cause a heavy feeling. On the contrary, it provides energy to continue the journey. Bakadir, tell us, where are we? What is this place?
We are in a resort area called Amarisoy. It's packed capacity in winter. Snowboarding, skiing, tubing for kids, cycling, trekking and mountain hiking are available to visitors in the summer.
What are those mountains?
This is Western Tian Shan, the Greater Chimgan Mountains.
How far is it from Tashkent?
An hour away.
So you take your family and...
That's right. That's what people do.
Tashkent lights up with thousands of lights in the evening. Here you can find entertainment to suit all tastes. You can drink coffee in a cozy cafe, move on the dance floor to trendy electronica, or listen to a live band in a rock and roll club.
We recently conducted a comparative analysis focusing on 5 or 6 countries that are on the list of countries of choice for people who want to relocate nowadays. And Uzbekistan actually tops the list in terms of tax benefits, living conditions, and support for those who relocate.
Since the Great Silk Road times, international cooperation, as well as cultural and intellectual exchange, have been key factors in the development of the region. The main national character traits are derived from that fact: diligence and perseverance, a love of everything new and advanced, and of course, sincerity, friendliness, and hospitality, which are most clearly manifested in the local IT community. Welcome to Uzbekistan.
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 Hoş gelipsiz.